So, what if compassion isn't really about being a good person? What if it's something way more primal, more instinctual? Well, we're going to dive right into that idea with the story of this really unusual monk. His actions might seem simple, but trust me, the message they carry is absolutely profound. Okay, so let's set the scene. I want you to picture this. We're turning back the clock 1,000 years, all the way to a bustling little place called Taiping Town. And it's right there in the middle of all the chaos of daily life that we're gonna meet our guy. His name is Kong Kong. He's this wandering monk, super cheerful, kind of round, and he's got this booming laugh. But here's the thing that makes him different. He's not really into the whole chanting scriptures thing. Nope, he'd much rather, meddle in everyone else's business around town. And all this meddling, well, it actually earned him a nickname. The townspeople started calling him the spokesman for unconditional kindness. And his whole philosophy could be boiled down to something really simple. Look, I don't know you, you don't know me, but I'm still going to be good to you. And you know what? I don't need a reason why. So that brings us to our first story, which just perfectly shows what this guy was all about. It's a simple little tale about a beggar, a toad with a busted leg, and a warm biscuit. Sounds random, right? Just wait. All right, so one day, Kong Kong's just minding his business, chewing on a cold bun he got for the day, when he sees this beggar on a street corner. And the beggar is just sighing, talking to this little toad next to him that's got a broken leg. It's like, "Brother Toad, your leg's broken, my stomach's empty. Man, we're both in the same miserable boat, aren't we?" Kong? Kong doesn't say a word. He just walks right over. He reaches inside his robe, pulls out this warm sesame biscuit, and this was like his secret stash, the good stuff, and he just hands it to the beggar. Then get this, he tears a strip of cloth from his own robe and gently, carefully bandages up the little toad's leg. Wow. The beggar is just completely stunned. He's like, "Master, why are you giving this to me? Don't you need it? And why in the world are you wasting your time on this ugly toad?" But Kong Kong just gives him this warm smile and says, This is unconditional kindness. I help you because honestly it makes me happy, and I help the toad because I can feel its pain. It's just love without a reason. You get it? Okay, so let's unpack that for a second. This is the first huge idea we're talking about. Unconditional kindness. It's not about charity, it's not about duty, it's not about getting good karma, it's just being good to someone you don't even know for absolutely no reason at all. No strings attached. All right, so if unconditional kindness was his reason for acting, this next idea is more about an involuntary physical reaction. It's this gut feeling. And the best way to explain it is with another story. This one about a dog that gets into let's just say a very stinky situation. So in this town, there was this landlord, Chan Ben Cheng, and he was famously cheap, a real miser. Anyway, one day his prized dog, the one thing he actually seemed to care about, falls into a cesspit. Yikes. And the landlord, he loves the dog, sure, but he absolutely cannot stand the smell. So he's just standing there at the edge, freaking out, but he will not go in. And just then, who happens to be walking by? Kong Kong, of course. He takes one look at the situation, and without a single second of hesitation, he just jumps right into the filth. A moment later, he comes back up, covered head to toe in, holding this poor, sputtering dog. The landlord is just standing there, holding his nose, totally baffled. He's like, "Master, why on earth would you do that? That's not even your dog. It's disgusting." But Kong Kong, as he's wringing out his robes, he gets really serious and says, "When I saw that dog struggling, I felt my own chest get tight. It literally felt like I was the one drowning. So of course I had to jump in. I was saving myself."
And boom, that brings us to the second huge concept, empathetic suffering. It sounds really deep and philosophical, I know, but Kong Kong's point is that it's actually super simple. It's that physical gut punch reaction you get when you see someone else in pain. It's when their suffering actually, physically, becomes your own.
He had this brilliant way of explaining it, too. He asked the landlord, "Hey, if you accidentally cut your left hand, does your right hand just sit there and laugh at it? Of course not. Your right hand immediately rushes over to help, to cover the wound." And see, for Kong Kong, all of us, people, animals, heck, even trees, we're all just different hands on the same body. But you have to understand, Kong Kong's compassion went to some pretty wild extremes. The kind of stuff that left the townspeople just scratching their heads. And there's no better example of this than his little philosophical debate over a mosquito. So picture this. One afternoon, Kong Kong's just meditating under a tree. This huge mosquito lands on his arm and starts to feed, and you can see its little body swelling up with blood. A villager, Wang Xiaoer, sees this and totally panics. He runs over with his hand up, ready to splat it, yelling, "Master, it's sucking your blood!" But Kong Kong just calmly puts up a hand and stops him. And he looks at this mosquito, not with annoyance, but with real affection. And he says, "Just look at it. It's risking its life to ask for alms just so it can feed its family. How is that any different from me asking for my food every day? For me, this is just a drop of blood. It's nothing. But for that mosquito, it's a whole family dinner." Now, I know what you might be thinking. These are just nice stories, right? Charming little philosophical ideas. But the legends say that this kind of deep empathy had real, actual power. And everyone saw it firsthand during a terrible drought that hit the town. For 6 straight months, not a single drop of rain. There was this ancient old tree, a tree that had been there for centuries, and it was dying. Every single day, Kong Kong would take his tiny little bit of drinking water and give half of it to the tree. Then one night, he's meditating under it, and something shifts. He stops thinking of himself as a monk saving a tree. Instead, he imagines he is the tree. He feels the dry, cracked earth, the wilting leaves, as if they were his own skin. And in that moment of just perfect empathy, a single tear falls from his eye. The second it hits the ground, the sky just opens up and it starts to pour rain. Sometime after that whole ordeal, Kong Kong just left, as quietly as he arrived. Nobody ever knew where he went. But you know what? He didn't really leave. The stories, the things he did, they stayed. And they changed that town forever. Suddenly, arguments just fizzled out. People started helping each other out, all the time. If they saw a stranger trip and fall on the street, they'd rush over, thinking, "Hey, what if that were me?" That's that empathetic suffering, right? And they started leaving out food for stray animals, not to get anything back, but just because. And that, my friends, is unconditional kindness. And really, that's the whole point, isn't it? The big takeaway from Kong Kong's story is that compassion isn't some big fancy virtue you have to work at. It's way simpler than that. It's just that raw, gut-level ability to feel what someone else is feeling. It's empathy. It's about realizing that when you help any other living thing, you're not just helping it. In a very real sense, you're helping yourself. Which kind of leaves us with one last question to think about, doesn't it? Who is the other you out there that needs your help today?